Hello, viewers. Welcome to this session. I am going to explain and elaborate the passages from the scholar Gipsy by Metthew Arnold. In my last sessions, I have already discussed a stanza number 1 to a stanza number 21. Today I am going to explain a stanza number 22. This stanza talks about a scholar Gipsy, how a scholar Gipsy is different from the Victorians, from the moderns, and how he is immortal, still nursing the unconquerable hope, still clutching the inviolable shade. The scholar Gipsy still nurses the unconquerable hope. Unconquerable means that cannot be conquered. Still clutching the inviolable shade. The scholar Gipsy goes into the recesses of woods, countryside, shades, and he gets cheerfulness, happiness, and comfort there. With a free onward impulse brushing through by night the silvered branches of the glade. The scholar Gipsy has freedom. He is free. He is seen during the night on the moonlit hills that get brightened by the light of the moon. For on the forest skirts where none pursue, on some mild pastoral slope, the scholar Gipsy moves on the skirts of the forest in the countryside near Oxford, where none pursue, where none can reach, where none can go there to infect him, to contaminate him, on some mild pastoral slope. And he is found on the slopy hills, on the hills that have slope, mild pastoral slope, emergent resting on the moonlit pales. And he is seen in the moonlit night, resting on the moonlit pales. Freshers thy flowers as in former years. The scholar Gipsy freshens his flowers as he did in former years, former days, with dew, or listen with enchanted ears. He listens with enchanted ears. He listens carefully the songs and singing from the dark place. Dark tingles means dark place under the shadow of the tree to the nightingales. Nightingales are beautiful birds. Now let us see a stanza number 23. But fly our paths, our feverish contact fly, for strong the infection of our mental strife. The poet says that the scholar Gipsy should fly from the paths of the Victorians, paths of the modern people, because if he comes in the contact of the Victorians or the moderns, he will be feverish. He will have feverish contact with them. For a strong the infection of our mental strife. The mental strife of the Victorians and the moderns are strong. They can infect him strongly, which though it gives no bliss, it spoils for rest. The scholar Gipsy gets bliss, happiness, cheerfulness, while it is lacking for the Victorians and the moderns. The Victorians and the moderns spoil their rest. They have no rest. They are restless in pursuit of materialism, comforts and pleasure. Whereas the scholar Gipsy is deprived from all these things, so he is happier, more cheerful and glad. And we should win thee from thy own fair life. We should win thee from thy own fair life. The life of the scholar Gipsy is fair, beautiful. His life attracts the modern people, but modern people cannot have what the scholar Gipsy possesses. Like a distracted and like us unblessed. The scholar Gipsy is distracted. He has no touch of the disease of modern life, and like us, he is unblessed with materialism, with worldly pleasures, with worldly desires. Soon thy cheer would die, thy hopes grow timorous, and unfix'd thy powers. If the scholar Gipsy comes in the contact of the moderns, the Victorians, his cheerfulness will disappear, his happiness will disappear, his happiness will die. Thy hopes grow timorous, and his hopes will grow old and tired, and it will tire his youth, it will tire his powers, and the clear aims be crossed and shifting made, and his aims will be distracted. He will lose singleness of aim, singleness of business, singleness of desire. As the scholar Gipsy has one aim, one desire, one business, one desire, so he is immortal, he is happy, he is more cheerful. And then thy glad perennial youth would fade and grow old at last, and die like ours. In these two lines, the poet says that if the scholar Gipsy has the contact with the moderns and the Victorians, his perennial youth will fade and grow old and last like the and die like the moderns, like the modern people, like the Victorians. Here John Keats also talks about this thing in his famous poem Ode to the Nightingale. The lines remind us of Ode to the Nightingale of John Keats. Stanza number 24. Then fly our greetings, fly our speech and smiles, and some grave Tyrian as some grave Tyrian trader from the sea. The poet or the speaker says that the scholar Gipsy should fly from the greetings of the moderns, from the greetings of the Victorians, because their speech, their smiles will contaminate the scholar Gipsy, will inflict and infect the scholar Gipsy, as some grave Tyrian trader from the sea. Here, Tyrian trader refers to the people of Phoebians people. Phoebian peoples were the first navigators, and they left Greek and went to other place. Decreed at sunrise and emerging pro, lifting the cool aired creepers stilly. And the Tyrian trader sails on the east of Mediterraneans because they are fled away by the Greeks. The frings of southward facing brew among the Asian isles, and the Tyrian traders go on sailing on the Asian isles and saw the merry Grecian coaster come, and they see the Grecian coaster coming, and frightened with amber grapes and Chian wine, green bursting figs and tonnage steeped in brim, I knew the intruders on his ancient home. The Tyrian traders see the merry Grecian coaster coming, and the Grecian coaster bring amber grapes and wine of Chios island, green bursting fruits, and tonnage is a big sea fish, steeped in brim, which is salted so that it may not rot. I knew the intruders on his ancient home, and the Tyrian traders know the intruders on their ancient home. They see the intruders on their ancient home. Now let me conclude this poem. Stanza number 25. The young light-hearted masters of the waves, and snatched the rudder and shook out more sail. The young light-hearted Tyrians snatched rudders, and they wanted to have more and more sail, and day and night held on indignantly over the blue midland waters with the gill, and they remained on the Mediterranean seas with the gale between the Syrtes and soft Sicily. We have two islands known as Syrtes and soft Sicily. They are islands on the coast of Africa. To where the Atlantic waves outside the western straits and unwind sails. It is the island where Atlantic waves are very strong, and outside the western straits in the Gibraltar and unwind sails there where down cloudy cliffs through sheets of foam thy sigh traffickers the dark Iberians come and on the beach undid his corded wells. And these people, the young light-hearted sailors, snatched their rudder and shouted out the more sails, shouted out for the more sails. Day and night they held on ignorantly over the blue midland waters with the gale. The Tyrian vessel hastened its speed in the Mediterranean. It came between two sandbanks of the African coast in the south of Sicily. These coasts were named Astarte and Sicily. There the Atlantic rode outside the western straits and unwind sails. The ship sailed on through the straits of Gibraltar. The sails were not folded, the sails were furled as the cords which held the extended sails were unbound or unfastened. It went there, veiled in the mist like a spray of the breakers. Passing through the foamy sea, it came to the dark Iberians, that is, it came to the land of darkish complexioned Spaniards. Thus the vessel passing through the Mediterranean, Gibraltar and African coasts reached Spain. Thus the poem ends. Thanks for watching.